We have some non-playoff basketball, non-draft related things. Yesterday, the Philadelphia 76ers fired and parted ways with Daryl Morey, who was the team president. Now, this is on the heels of the Philadelphia 76ers getting embarrassed and swept by my New York Knicks in the second round of the playoffs. A weird time for the Philadelphia 76ers. And it's not to excuse this move. I understand the position that they're taking, but it feels like a crazy turn of events. 2 weeks ago, or maybe even less than 2 weeks ago at this point, because of how fast the Knicks series was, Philadelphia was on fire. Everything looked up. Joel Embiid returned to the team in the middle of the playoff series against Boston. They come back down from 3-1, the first time that has ever happened to a Boston Celtics team. And that was a Boston Celtics team that a month or so prior had got Jason Tatum back. And a lot of the basketball world, from a consistent standpoint, was like, this is the favorite. There was no heavy Eastern Conference team at that point that looked like they had the Eastern Conference locked down, right? The Cavaliers and the Knicks were the heavy favorites going into the season, but neither one of those teams showed strong, abilities to just take over the East. And a lot of people respected and liked what the Pistons had to do all year, but wasn't super sold on their, style and their group from a talent perspective to go all the way on a championship run. And so that led a lot of people to the Boston Celtics. And to see them handle business early against the 76ers, and for Joel Embiid to come back, for Paul George to shoot the ball amazingly, for VJ Edgecombe to contribute at the level he did as a rookie, and then Tyrese Maxey to play the way that he played, the 76ers were one of the hottest teams in the league. And I was even a guy that was like, hey, I'm buying in on the Sixers, not saying that they're going to the finals. I still had the Knicks. But I don't know anybody that talked about or preview the Knicks versus Sixers to be a 4-0 sweep, and with a game like Game 4 happening. I think everybody thought this was going to go 6, and we were going to start to see a version of the Philadelphia 76ers that we had anticipated a year or two ago when they first got Paul George and had the idea of bringing him into the mix, playing third fiddle between Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. And now we fast forward what I call the Mother's Day Massacre, with the performance that the Knicks had. They go separate ways. Daryl Morey was there for 6 years, never got past the second round, something that the Philadelphia 76ers are obviously dedicated and stressed to do, right? Joel Embiid is one of the top premier talents in our game and has never played or even made it to the conference finals, let alone the NBA finals. And what I find interesting in all of this is, while Daryl Morey has been fired, Bob Myers is going to oversee the front office as an intern and really help them make the next decisions on who will lead the charge for them. So it's going to be something to monitor out here in Philadelphia. And whoever gets that job and takes the reins as team president for Daryl Morey is going to have a tall hill and mountain to climb, because you talk about Maxey, Embiid, Paul George all being on max contracts, very little wiggle room for them to go into the market. And I think outside of that, they're really banking on the development of VJ Edgecombe. But this team is very limited in what they could do. This is a team that had Jared McCain, who is now over there in OKC thriving, right? He's already in the Western Conference Finals. OKC hasn't lost a playoff game. Daryl Morey is a guy that brought in Paul George and gave him that contract that a lot of people are kind of looking at now. Brought in James Harden, also the guy that traded James Harden, extended Embiid, and that contract will kick in next year. So very, very, very tough situation out there in Philadelphia. But in between all of that, there is some silver lining, because you do have the nucleus of Tyrese Maxey, Embiid, with a guy like Paul George and a young rookie guard and VJ Edgecombe, who showed a lot of promise. So somebody will try to get here and put the pieces around that puzzle.
Hit subscribe for more news, highlights, and analysis from the NBA on NBC.